Hello to you all. First of all, I'd like to start by thanking Your Highness for having me here. It's such a privilege to be here with you and been able to listen to the wonderful speakers during the last day. It's been so inspiring to see what's happening in education. I'm going to talk to you about the leader in me and how we are implementing leadership into schools around the world. I want to start with just showing you a brief video that will enlighten a little bit about what the leader in me is about.
This is me, and this is my teacher, Miss C. She's so great. She teaches me a lot of good stuff. She taught me that everything I do starts with me. I'm in charge. She taught me to have a plan and make sure I do all my work before I play. I also learned how to play well with others. I try to remember that everyone can win. And I listen before I talk. That makes working together a lot more fun. I know that balance feels best, so I remember to take care of myself. Miss C taught me lots of things, but the best one ever is that I can be great.
What if every child had the same opportunity? The opportunity to develop the essential life skills and characteristics students need to thrive in the 21st century. The Leader in Me process provides the teacher experience and classroom implementation tools to put your school on the path to greatness. As you integrate timeless principles into your school's core curriculum and language, you will build student self-confidence, reduce discipline referrals, and increase academic achievement. Find out more at theleaderinme.org.
Great happens here.
Yeah, how would a school look like if every child had the opportunity to develop their full potential and be great? I'd just like to share with you a little bit about Franklin Covey. Franklin Covey is a global and international leadership training company in 149 countries and have been working with leadership trainings from youth children to youth young people in universities, to professionals, to parents, to families. Everywhere is implementing leadership. The book, The 7 Habits, which is, we based our seminars on, has been voted one of the most influential leadership books in the world for the past 100 years. And yeah, we're working with societies, companies in the world, and have been for the past 30 years. But just to give you a brief introduction on what are the 7 habits, you're probably thinking, what are the 7 habits? The book, The 7 Habits for Highly Effective People, was published in 1989, and it was written by Stephen Covey. And he made a research on what is it that people that succeed in life again and again and again, what do they have in common? What is it? What characteristics, what attitudes, what are they doing differently? And he found out that they are actually living the 7 habits, unconsciously or consciously. But the most important thing is that everyone can learn it. Each and every one of us is born with our gifts, our talents, our potential, our dreams, our hopes, our passion, and we can all develop from that through the 7 habits. He put it up in like a maturity continuum that we have here that I like to explain to you because then you understand the process and how we're doing in schools. It's about the development from the attitude of dependence. The attitude that it's not my fault, I can't do anything about this. You blame everyone else on what you think if things go wrong. Up to the independence, it's the attitude of I'm in charge. And to interdependence, how do we work collaboratively together with others? The dependence attitude, it's kind of in schools, it's not my fault, I'm bad at math, I just have a bad math teacher. Or we blame it on our boss. I just have a bad boss, so that's why I'm not good at my work. We blame it on we need money, or we need this, or we need. We kind of put the responsibility on others instead of taking responsibility ourselves. And that's the first part. The first 3 parts, 3 habits, is about yourself and your own development, because all change starts with you. Habit 1, be proactive, is about understanding that we can't choose everything that is happening around us. We can't choose everything that kind of happens, but we can always choose how to react. How do we react in every situation? It's up to us, and we are responsible for the choices we have. We have a voice and we have a choice. We also set it up like all the things that are around us and affect us in kind of a circle of concern. But there are only a few things that are in our circle of influence that we really can influence. But the thing is, where are we spending our time? Are we spending our time within our circle of influence? Or are we spending our time and energy in things that we actually cannot do anything about? So it's about identifying that and really focusing on doing the things that you can impact. The third one in proactive is about walking the talk, leading by example. It's gives much more stronger effect what you do and what you say. So think about that. Like we say sometimes, you can't talk yourself out of a situation that you behave yourself into. So it's stronger what we do. We can say a lot of things, but it's matter what we do. Number 2 is beginning with the end in mind, is to have a clear vision. If we think about education, what do we want with education? I ask all the schools that I'm working with, what do you want eventually? What do you want to give the children when they leave you? And how are your plans on doing that? And that's habit 2. End in mind and have a plan towards it. Number 3 is putting first things first. It's really to be able to identify what are the key issues, what are the most important things that we need to focus on, and focus on that. So number 1 is about responsibility. Number 2 is about vision. Number 3 is about integrity. How often have we said that we are going to do the most important thing first, but we don't? And it's, we teach them, how do you categorize this, how do you put it in your schedule and everything. Now you're up to independence. You stand strongly rooted, kind of compares with a tree. Strong tree with strongly rooted, it can, resist all winds and fires and earthquake if you have strong roots. It's the same in life. If you're a strongly rooted person with a strong character, you know your values, you know your responsibility, you know where you're going, and you prioritize, you're able to work collaboratively and effectively with others as well, which are the next 3 habits. The first one is to think win-win, the 4th one, and to really think win-win. Someone talked about win-win solution here earlier today, but our society is more like win-lose society. It's kind of, sometimes we don't even feel that we have won until someone else has lost. So it's about the mindset is that the pie is this big, and we don't want, if you get a hunk of it, it's just less for me. That's not what we want. There's enough for everybody. There's enough education for everybody, for example. It's not for only few. But to get win-win when working together with others in a team is to go to habit 5, which is seeking first to understand and then to be understood. You really need to learn to listen in the other frame of reference to see how are people really seeing this. Because we are programmed to see the world as we are. We make judgments based on what we think, what we've experienced, our paradigms, our upbringing, and what we've experienced, not necessarily how it really is. And how often have you met a person and you think, oh, no, this person, I don't like this one, this is exactly like this, and so on. Then you get to know the person, and she's totally different. And you say, why didn't I see that? That's because we see things as we are. When we've listened, it's also important that we kind of be understood. So we share as well what we want and stand strongly on that. But together, by thinking win-win, by seeking to understand and then to be understood, we can create synergy, where the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. When we bring together knowledge, like we're doing here, we bring together different knowledge in different projects, and we create something that is a lot bigger than each and every one is doing separately. That's synergy. There we have come up to this interdependence. So the first dependence is about the attitude of you, it's your fault. The independence is about the attitude of I, but the interdependence is about the attitude of we. Then we have the 7th habit, which is kind of around everything, which is about we need to take care of ourselves. We need to find balance, find the things that gives us energy. And we put it up in 4 categories. It's about physically, of course, we have to take care of ourselves, but mentally too. We have to develop, we have to learn new things, we have to learn new skills. Especially, you know, all this technology and everything, we have to, you know, kind of train the brain as well. And then it's the relationships, our key relationships, our loved ones. We have to invest in the time with them as well. And then it's yourself, which we sometimes tend to forget. That we need to say, what is it that brings me energy? What is it that brings me passion? What is my passionate about? So that's the 7 habits, which is the basis of the training that we are doing in schools all around the world and in companies and so on. We put it up in a little more child-friendly look in a tree there, so that's what the children are saying. But a little bit about how this became the leader in me, the process that we are working in schools today. It all started with a principal called Muriel Summers in Abercrombie, North Carolina, which was in a school that was quite struggling, and she was listening to Dr. Covey talking about the 7 habits, and then she came up to me and said, why is it the children have to learn all the bad habits, and then they spend most of their adult life to unlearn them? Why can't they learn these habits as early as kindergarten? Why can't we teach them that? And Stephen Covey said, well, I don't see why not. So they started to develop the foundation for the process that we are working by today. And in 3 years, she dramatically saw changes in her school. She was a struggling school. She didn't know, how to attract more children. It was a lot of conflicts, a lot of bullying. The grade tests, the academic results was not good. The engagement level was she was struggling keeping teachers and so on. In 3 years, she became #1 as a magnet school in the whole USA. The academic results have been 95 to 97% who reached the end of grade tests for the past 15 years, and it's still like that. Bullying and conflicts between staff and parents, with children, they're almost, it's not that it doesn't happen, but the teachers and the children know how to handle it, and that's the key thing. So, absolutely amazing. And then you say, well, this is one school. Well, we are now with around 1,800 schools. Sorry. We have around 1,800 schools all around the world because they came in and said, what are you doing? How are you doing this process? How can we do this as well? And we have 1,800 schools around the world, which none of them is identical. They're all just using these tools and resources to unleash the potential that lies in the schools, to implement these leadership skills. So we have different kinds of leaders who lead the world. That's the thing. So we have an amazing, same results that we saw in Abercrombie are we seeing all around the world. It's about self-confidence. You see that increase in children. You see academic improvement, engagement and motivation with children. That's the key thing. If we look at there's a lot of improvement effort in schools, which we are focusing on now. You see it all around the world. I see it all around Europe and Middle East and Africa and America and Australia. They're struggling about, we need new curriculum. They're putting up new curriculums in national, in countries. Every 3rd year, every 5th year, it's different. Always kind of inventing that. They're doing professional development. Oh, we need more of that. We need more of that, they say, to improve education. We need community involvement. We need more community involvement. That's the key thing. We need more money. That's not something Spain needs, does it? We need to involve parents more. We need to do more of that. We need accountability. We need children to be more responsible for their learning and innovative, and teachers to work more together. We need more technology, then the school would be better. We need to run it like a business. These are all issues that the education is trying to see, how do we improve this? But as was said here earlier today, education hasn't changed so much for the past many, many years. And that's maybe because of the root of the problem. If we go to the roots of the problem, it's for every 1,000 hacking away at leaves of evil, there is one striking at the root. We need to go to the foundation. And that's what we're doing through the Leader in Me in schools. We're setting this up as a tree. And there are 3 things in the roots that we can do that kind of unites the whole world. You see this in education system everywhere. This is important. First is the principles. Children need to navigate through a world of technology, of information, what's right, what's wrong. we need to give them a sense of purpose. We need to give them direction so they can make good choices by themselves when we are not anywhere close. That's 7 Habits can be a part of that. The culture. We need to do something about the culture in schools. I see when the communication between students, between teachers, between parents, we need to kind of create more motivating culture, engage them, because education is the most exciting topic in the world. That's at least what I think. And then it's the paradigms. The paradigms we hold. What do we see when we look at a child? Do we see their potential, their greatness? Or do we see just another problem child that needs to be dealt with? What do we see and what do we communicate? We set this up. I'm going to start with telling you a little story. There was an experiment done. There was a group of children. They took tests, and half of them scored like elite students, fantastic results, and half of them scored like what you say, like the dummies. It was pretty bad. They made 2 classes, the elite class and the dummies class. They took half of the elite students in the elite class. They took half of the dummies in the elite class. And the same thing to the dummies class. They didn't tell teachers, parents, or anything what they've done. How do you think these classes perform? Usually people say, well, similar, because they had the same amount of children. No. The elite class scored like elite students, all of them, also the dummies. The dummies class, it scored like dummies. They weren't good. How do you think the mindset of teachers and parents when they met the elite class was? The elite class came in, oh, wow, fantastic, you are great, you are wonderful, you will perform well, my favorite class. How about the other one? Do you think they got the same? Do you think the teachers and everyone saw them in the same way? Oh, comes again, this class. Oh, they can never learn, they can never sit still, they never do their homework, they're terrible. Children are so smart, they read us. Like we said, you can't do one thing and say another. You can say the right things, but if you do it, you communicate it, that's just how it is. So we set up the foundation for all the habits that we have is what we call a see, do, get. The results you get builds on what you do, your behavior. But your behavior builds on how you see things. What do you see? Do you see potential? Do you see greatness? Do you see possibilities? Or what you see? And that will affect what you do. I'd like to show you a video. And I like to think about how do you see children? How do you see people you meet when you look at this? I truly believe that within every school lies a great competence and potential that need to be capitalized. Our vision is with synergy between everyone in here, schools, governments, countries, we can develop those leadership skills in children and empower human capacity. Using the 7 Habits and the Leader in Me has proven to be an important tool with unleashing this talent potential that exists in all aspects of education. As Placido Domingo talked about yesterday, about finding your passion, together we can develop schools that communicate to students their worth and potential so clearly that they are inspired to see and find their passion. We can use synergy, as when we listened to the instrument yesterday playing the wonderful music, that was synergy at its highest level. How can we play with such synergy in the instrument education? I'd like to ask all of you who consider yourself a leader here in the room to stand up. Good. I think all of you are. So look at yourself as leader. Together, we can change the world. But remember, to the world, you might just be one person. But to one person, you might be the world. Our job is to prepare today's and tomorrow's generation for a future that none of us can predict how it's going to be. We want these children and young people to have a frame of mind, a skill set, a tool set to be a leader by heart. Thank you. Muchas gracias.